Talking to the great Craig Monroe, and as you mentioned that about the young guys, Craig, with Jim Leyland there, he always used to tell us guys in the media with his hand down his pants, he used to say, no, look, nobody's checking their driver's license when they get to the plate.
That's real. That's real.
Get my Tigers baseball on right
Baseball.
now. He is one of our favorites. We're really excited to talk to him. It means baseball is here. The great former Tiger, Craig Monroe, now a Tigers studio analyst.
C-Mo.
Bally Sports, Detroit.
What's up, B?
What's up, baby?
Craig Monroe, how you doing, my friend?
What's up, C-Mo?
I'm doing great, guys. What's going on? Hey, listen, I jumped on early, right, because I wanted to hear what you guys were talking about. You were cracking me up, man. You guys are pretty good at this thing, this TV thing. You guys are pretty damn good at it. So just so you know, man, I enjoyed listening to y'all before I came on.
We appreciate that,
You
Craig.
gotta love this guy right here.
I mean, seriously, Braylon loves you. I love you. Detroit loves you. C-Mo, and we love our Tigers. I'll tell you, it is so good to have baseball back. How, first off, excited are you that we get a full 162 games? No harm, no foul. Everything's back.
Well, I was a little nervous early. There was no question. I'm thinking, man, what are we doing? The game is in a great place. You got these young stars of the game. You got 19, 20, 21 years olds carrying the game. And you're thinking, well, they're not even going to get a chance to play 162. Well, the lockout is over. Baseball is back, and I couldn't be more excited about watching this young Tiger team continue to get better.
Hey, C-Mo, speaking of young superstar players, walk me through this with Carlos Correa, because I'm of the mind, I'm young, I'm trying to learn about baseball more from you, from somebody that is a professional at it. Why need Carlos Correa and pay $300+ million when you already got Javi Baez already earlier in free agency? Educate me, if you will.
Well, anytime that you can upgrade your roster and get better, I mean, you can add that kind of player, a dynamic player as Carlos Correa, you're always going to, keep the door open. Now, I do feel like with Baez being our new shortstop, there's no question he's an elite defensive player, maybe even a little better defensively than Carlos Correa. Offensively, though, Correa just does a lot of special things. He's a power hitter. He's an RBI machine. And he also he hits for a high average. I mean, those guys are they're not a lot of guys out there that are complete players, Braylon, like that. So you always have to entertain that thought. But I think right now, if the Tigers had to start the season, they're very comfortable having Javier Baez play shortstop.
Hey, Craig, talk to me about, do you see any similarities between this year's team, and I know they're just getting started, but there's so much excitement about them. Maybe because obviously because of the way that last season ended. Well beyond the wins that anybody really thought they were going to have. You sign a Javier Baez, Tucker Barnhart. You trade Rodriguez. For Rodriguez. Do you see any similarities between this group and the group in 06 that kind of just burst onto the scene?
Yeah, no, I do. And I don't think a lot of people are going to pick the Tigers to even have a chance in the playoffs or even make a wild card push. But I think with AJ and what I'm seeing and his attention to detail, the way they pay attention to detail, I really feel like his impact in this clubhouse and being able to get the most out of his players, I think we're going to be all surprised of how good this team is. And when I started thinking about the comparison, you got to think about they got some veteran players the same way we added. They added a Baez. We added a Carlos again. We added a Polanco. We end up adding Pudge Rodriguez. And all of a sudden, this thing started to shape up with a bunch of young guys that really just started to scratch the surface of what we could be. And I was one of those guys. Brandon Edge was one of those guys. How about Marcus Timms? So I look at this roster and think there's some journeymen on this roster that are hungry, the Grossmans, your Scopes, and now adding a superstar player in Baez along with Miggy. I do feel like this team will definitely have something to say about the American League Central for sure. I definitely feel like we'll push the Chicago White Sox and maybe fall in that second spot because I feel like there were maybe one or two pieces away from winning the division and ultimately getting to the World Series.
Talking about one or two pieces away, I'm looking at the team this year right now. I'm excited, like Ryan said, the optimism is high. That's why we're glad that they got the deal done, so baseball is back. What's the next move? What's the move to get us over that hump? What's the move to take us from what we won last year and get us to that 98-game win to 95-game wins? What's that next move? Is it a bullpen, which is cliche, but it's always true? What's that move, Simo?
It always seemed to be a problem here in Detroit. I mean, I'm very familiar with the words bullpen. Bullpen's always been the problem here. And being on that 06 team, right? I mean, we had Todd Jones, Franklin Herman, we had Fernando Rodney. So, yeah, there were some eventful times. But, man, when you gave the ball to those guys at the back end, you just trusted that they were going to get it done and they were going to put their best foot forward. But when I started thinking about this team, I think there's a couple of bullpen pieces that we could add. Some veteran guys that have some track records. I think that's always important. Having experience, especially late in games, you can't make this stuff up. It's a lot of times, especially if it's the closer. At the end of the day, it's either you win or you lose, and it always seems to fall on the closer. So I always feel like there are some guys out there that's going to emerge in our bullpen, but I wouldn't be opposed to adding another bullpen arm, maybe a righty. And I also think this, guys, and I know we don't, I'm jumping ahead here, but Torkelson and Green. I can go back to when we were in 2006 in spring training. I remember Skip saying, listen, to Dave Dombrowski, in order for me to win, I have to take these two guys with me. That was Justin Verlander and it was Joel Zumaya. We got there. We didn't finish the deal. But without those two guys, we don't even get there. So I'm looking at this roster now and thinking, we might already have the pieces, Bray. If Torkelson could come up and be what everybody's expecting him to be, and that's a bona fide star. He's
that's
one
Mickey's
of one.
boy.
And he's got power to all fields. He is ridiculous when it comes to hitting the ball out of the ballpark. And then I truly believe this. Riley Green will turn himself into, well, he's already done it in the minor leagues. Now he has to do it in the big leagues. He will be probably the all-around best player on the team with the skill sets that he has. He can steal a base. He can hit for power. He hits for a high average. He's an on-base machine. So we might have the pieces already on the team. They just have to develop and get some experience, and then I think the rest is going to be history.
Talking to the great Craig Monroe, and as you mentioned that about the young guys, Craig, with Jim Leyland there, he always used to tell us guys in the media with his hand down his pants, he used to say, no, look, and forgive the impression, look, nobody's checking their driver's license when they get to the plate.
That's real. That's real. That is real.
Skip, man. Skip was so awesome in his especially with his rants and how he gets all excited. Hey, what are they doing? What are we thinking of Tigers? He gets all excited, man. There's a lot of similarities with AJ. He's maybe not as animated as Skip was, but the communication, man. The door, all the managers, the door is always open, But this is true for this Tigers team. The door is always open. AJ addresses every issue, every situation right away. He doesn't let it linger. I'll give you guys a quick story. I'm hanging out with AJ, and we're in Cincinnati. And I guess they had just came from the West Coast, and Iglesias was playing shortstop for the Angels. And the big fellow, Miguel Cabrera, you know how you run it. You're running your sprints, trying to get ready for the game. And Iggy comes up to Miggy and goes, hey, Papi, you gotta tell AJ Hinch, I want to come back. I want to be a Tiger. And Miggy said to him, I don't know, Papi, if you want to do that. He said, why? He said, because we work now. So
That's great.
AJ's telling this story. So AJ kind of folded his arm up and he said, see, I'm going to be honest with you. That was a proud Papa moment. It was a proud Papa moment, which tells me that everybody is buying in. There's no BS around AJ. He is a straight shooter. And then the players are running through walls for him. They'll do anything for him because they trust his baseball knowledge.
Hey, Simo, it's Maz. I got a couple of for you. On the lockout itself, they were talking about the DH, the universal DH. Well, it's now part of the game. What's your take on that? I think it's awesome for the game. And then next year, they're going to eliminate the shift. They're going to add 12 playoff teams and the pitch clock on that pitcher. I think it's 14 seconds and then 18 if there's a runner on base. What's your take on that?
I don't mind them trying to speed up the game. I get it. We want the game to be more appealing. to the younger generations. Games lasting 3:30, almost 4 hours. You lose your audience. And so for those reasons, I mean, I understand them, trying to put the pitch clock. But I also will say this: it's not always on the pitcher; it's on the hitter. I'm guilty as charged because when I step in that batter's box, man, and I've got some negative thoughts in my head or some swing thoughts, I've got to get out of there because I want to clear the mechanism. I want to focus solely on the baseball. So I think the hitters also kind of have this little human rain delay, so to speak, when you start thinking about times of games. And then when you start thinking about the DH, I have to admit, I'm overly joyed by the fact that I no longer have to watch some of these pitchers hit.
Thank God.
You don't want to see Max Scherzer go 0 for 67?
Yeah, no, I don't want to see that. I don't want to see that. Well, dude, you got to think about this. We pay these pitchers a lot of money, man.
Yeah.
And I don't want them to get hurt swinging a bat. If anything, I'm okay with them getting hurt, throwing a pitch, getting some big outs. But to be in the batter's box, get hit on the finger, break your wrist, take a swing, it's just not
sliding in the bases for unnecessary reasons for the pitchers that can hit.
It ain't sexy watching them hit.
Yeah.
Get a hitter up there. So I love the fact that the National League now has the DH, and that's also 15 more jobs for players. And I'm always for more players getting more opportunities to live out their childhood dream.
Bigger bases too.
Yeah, we're gonna have some bigger bases.
Hey, Craig,
that might be good for the game.
I'm going to ask you to finish this sentence. You will be disappointed in the 2022 season if
if we don't win 85 games.
Bam.
I'd be disappointed.
Dude, this is a playoff. I'm telling you, this
is all Ryan's been talking about.
I'm telling you, if they are healthy, Craig, if they are healthy, and that's a big if because I don't think it's just take for granted.
Right.
If they are healthy, I think this is a team that is playing for a playoff berth in the final 3 weeks of the season. And by that I mean I'm talking about around 3 games
in the hunt.
Around 3 games with 3 weeks to go.
I think so too. I think last year AJ came in as a new manager and he shocked the clubhouse. No longer were guys just going to show up and, that's your job. You're going to play every day. He's like, no, every day it's a competition. And the guys that are getting it done, they're going to play. And the guys that don't, you saw what happened, right? They weren't here. They were out the door. They were on the bus on 75 going south. So I love the fact that he holds these guys accountable. Grossman was a huge addition, I thought, last year. Jonathan Scope was a huge addition. And then the job that Candelario did last year, man, at third base and offensively as well, they're just all growing and developing. And I thought Akil Baddoo, think about this, his first year playing in the big leagues, didn't play above A-ball. He was the most electrifying player on the roster. He took the big leagues by storm. He can only get better. So these are all exciting things that are happening around this team. So, Ryan, I'm with you. I will not be surprised if the Tigers are having a little push there at the end for one of those spots.
The great Craig Monroe, you can watch him all season long on Bally Sports Detroit. You can hit him 24/7 on Twitter at CMO_27. We cannot wait to see you on opening day, my friend.
What are you going to be wearing?
I will be there.
Baby. Listen, I'm going to tell you guys, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be very fun. Over the top.
That's so great.
You're not going to want to miss
best wardrobe in Detroit, hands down.
You're not going to want to miss this one. This is as far as I'm going. I think the orange was out there, right?
Right.
Oh no, I am way out there now.
Oh Lord have mercy.
Can't wait.
Hey, Simo, I got to tell you though, Braylon and I were talking about because I was in Toledo and when you played for the Mud Hens a little bit. Bruce Fields, the manager out there.
Yeah.
Larry Hurt. I mean, what a great time that
Bruce
was.
Lived right
it?
behind me. I met
that's
Simo. I was like 12 years
Braylon.
old. I was like 12.
I remember meeting Braylon. He was a young stud. He was going to Michigan. He's a big time receiver. I'm like, he's taller and bigger than everybody. And we're in the big leagues, And such a great guy. I mean, I enjoyed talking with him, kind of giving, just talked about being positive, always trusting himself and believing his ability. and you see what he's been able to accomplish, man. He's been great, and he's a great addition to the show, man. So I'm excited for all you guys enjoying yourself, talking some good sports. And
when you get back, man, we gotta hang out.
It's all about keeping the people entertained, right?
That's right. That's
it, Craig.
That's my middle name, right?
This is true.
And then it doesn't hurt that you look, we look good too. So it's all positive.
I gotta get a haircut, but you're right though. Usually.
Oh, Craig, we can do this all day long, my friend.
Braylon, I don't know if you can see it. I'm trying to catch you, but I don't know if I'm going to catch you. Dude.
Nah, it's not going to. Unless I cut mine down, which I might do. So, opening day, man, you might be even with me.
Braylon's getting a little gray hair, though. Braylon's getting a little gray in there. Pretty soon he's going to be looking like Lovie Smith.
I got a little bit.
Hey, man, it's sexy.
I'm embracing that gray, though.
Gray is, I am, too.
We're like fine wine,
Yeah.
Measured in time, baby. Measured in time.
My back hair is gray.
Oh, my God.
Craig, thanks, my friend. I'll leave you with that visual. Thanks so much,
all right,
man.
see my text, man.
Craig
See you,
Monroe.
Craig.
Guys, we got to get a break.
Nobody wants to hear about your back hair, man.
I'm kidding. It's
joking.
all about entertaining the people.
Hey,
Ermani and Edwards.
Woodward Sports Network, the bottom line.